What's up, America? Y'all know this is Dropping It. The media is a major influence on people worldwide. A story in the media can make or break a person. A great story can make a person look like a hero, just as a bad story can make a person look like a villain. Unfortunately, many people accept what comes from the media as fact. Most fail to research the news stories or their sources. I understand most Americans are too busy sometimes to look into the information they read or hear from media outlets. Some are very trustworthy in the news they present to us. Many people can cite misnomers, exaggerations, and even lies that have come out of news stories, both printed and televised. Lots of misinformation is started here. Many lies or misinformation are accepted as truth and create huge stereotypes. So much so that many people whom are targeted start to believe in it themselves. On many of my videos, including my most recent one titled, "Why Do People Hate Blacks?" I posed the question of why are black people hated on historically. Many people have sent me personal messages or commented on or about various videos I have made discussing race. Most frequently, people from other races pointed out how blacks are so violent to each other. They also failed to acknowledge the violence that they people have done to blacks or the violence that they do to each other. So since they won't point it out, I would do it for them. On June 28, 1914, the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand of Austria touched off a catastrophic event that would change the world forever. This event is widely recognized as the cause of the start of World War I that lasted from July 28, 1914 to November 11, 1918. The people of Europe also were tired of the imperialistic foreign policies of such superpowers as Germany, Russia, Britain, and France. Approximately 70 million troops were deployed in this war, mostly white, with the exception of Japan. Over 9 million people were killed, mostly white people who were killed by other whites. On September 1st, 1939, the invasion of Poland by Germany touched off another event that would shock the world. This event is recognized as the start of what is famously called World War II, including European countries like Britain, Poland, Germany, Russia, Yugoslavia, Italy, Hungary, and Romania. Also 9 European countries like Japan, the Philippines, and Brazil. 100 million troops will be deployed in this war. Over 70 million fatalities will result. Here again we find white people at war with each other. The most horrific event of this war is the approximate 6 million Jews that were exterminated in what is called the Holocaust by German dictator Adolf Hitler, the leader of the Nazi Party. Here we see a white man, Hitler, killing white Jews in some of the most heinous ways imaginable. China and Japan had been in conflict since 1931. This war was started with China being fed up with the imperialistic policies of Japan that dated back to the late 1800s, which eventually led to the Japanese invasion of China in 1937. This war became engulfed into World War II when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, a military base located in Hawaii. Scores of Asians were killed here by other Asians. An estimated 1.5 million lives was lost. The Korean War, that spanned from 1950 to 1953, which pitted North Korea versus their brothers in the South. The Korean War was based upon and manipulated by superpowers the United States and Russia, whom at the time were involved in what is called the Cold War, and the Korean people were pawns in their game to avoid actual conflict with each other. This war had an estimated 3 million fatalities, mostly Koreans who were killed by other Koreans. Latinos were marred in the Mexican Revolution, which eventually turned into the Spanish Civil War. This conflict started in 1910, led by Francisco Madero. These wars eventually led to the Mexican Constitution of 1917. In both of these wars, there was an estimated 1 million casualties, which were Latinos killing other Latinos. The Iran and Iraq War that started on September 22, 1980 from a border dispute and lasted until 1988. In this war, tons of troops and civilians were killed, using arms and also chemical and biological weapons. An estimated 1 million troops and civilians were killed during this 8-year span, all of which were of Arab descent. The Mafia, also known as Cosa Nostra, a crime syndicate that started in Sicily in the mid-19th century. Most of the members of the Mafia were immigrants who came into the United States through Ellis Island, New York. Most of them came from Northern and Western Europe, from countries like Ireland, England, Germany, Italy, and Scandinavia. Most settled in a section of New York called the Five Points, a section in Manhattan. Here they formed gangs, the first ever formed here in America. This section of New York was akin to most ghettos that you will find today. This was chronicled in the movie Gangs of New York, a film that was released in 2002, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Daniel Day-Lewis, and Cameron Diaz, directed by Martin Scorsese. These gangs eventually became what is known as the Mafia today. Through their connections with their Europe counterparts, mostly in the UK, where they had taken control of the opium trade from the Chinese, drugs were shipped here to America. This started the war on drugs. Many Mafia bosses got rich from these ventures, along with the illegal selling of alcohol during Prohibition. Many were killed in the process. The drive-by shootings were invented. There were scores of shootings, killings, and bombings in these Mafia wars, which involved whites, mostly Italians, Jews, and Irishmen killing each other. The Mexican drug cartels established in the late 1970s have long been a ruthless force throughout Mexico, Central and South America. It's been estimated that upwards of 2 million or more people have been killed as a result. Keep in mind, these figures are just the ones in these countries, not to mention the people killed here in the US. Here I have demonstrated a host of violent acts caused by other ethnicities against each other. Yet the media and some people of these races will outline and be quick to point out the murders that blacks do to each other. This video is in no way an excuse of any violence whatsoever, or the violence that blacks do to each other. I have done videos addressing that already. It's to outline the hypocrisy of other races. Many people of other races will be outraged by the facts outlined here in this video. However, the truth stands alone. So in conclusion, I ask, are other races as violent to each other as blacks are, or does history lie? And on that note, I teach and I don't preach. Peace.